I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. So, today is a review of a podcast. And I wanted to kind of go on and say that this is a little bit different for me. I don't do a lot of reviews, especially podcast reviews. But we're going to go over this because this is a relationship podcast. So, I'm going to go over this right now. And I really, really, truly want you guys to pay attention, especially people who are into relationships. You have a relationship with someone or even yourself. I mean, we all have relationships that we need to be involved in, especially with ourselves. Relationships and loving yourself and giving yourself the time to heal and giving yourself the credibility to understand how important you are to the people around you. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's get this going right now. The successful invisible. The Successful Invisible. So I want to talk about this podcast really quick. It's a podcast by a life coach about dating and relationships for dating over 35, especially for professional women who are dating over 35. In each episode, Janelle, which is the MBA and the ACC, takes a honest deep dive into dating and relationship subject areas through the lens of relationship coach. She challenges her audience in honesty and in a compassionate way so that they can level up their self-awareness and dating lives. Listen, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say this, and I'm gonna be really, really truthful with you. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. You can't date anyone else, you can't see anybody else. You need to begin to love yourself. So I believe that dating starts with you. So let's go in because I think she has a perfect way. So she has this on listen on Spotify and also on Anchor. And I want to go ahead and I want to literally go into one of the episodes that I was listening to. And it's just, are your standards too high? I want to go into that. All right. So I want to talk about this real quick. Because if your standards are too high, then how are your standards for the other person? I mean, literally, if your standards are high, how are you going to meet the standards of the other person that's going to have high standards as well? So we have to be compatible in that area. But sometimes our standards are way higher than what we should have them. And we're expecting so much from the other person. And we don't want to give that. So that's what I love about this episode. Let's talk about this for a second. Let me just go ahead and go back. I'm going to go back, and I'm definitely interested in this one.
Podcast, Episode 3. Are your standards too high? Today, we're going to dig a little deeper into your standards and understand what they may be revealing about you. This episode is perfect for anyone who wants an answer to the rhetorical question, are your standards too high? Is struggling to pare down their list of standards? Take an objective look at the background stories behind your standards and understand why I view dating in any serious capacity like the Olympics. Hint, this mindset can help you with your own self-assessment. Welcome to The Successful Invisible. I'm your host, Janelle, a life coach with a niche in relationship coaching. I'm speaking to my professional ladies out there who are 35 plus and seeking their happily ever after and are ready to embrace the challenge and journey of dating with more intentionality. Trigger warning, there is a bit of swearing involved. Simply saying she needs to lower her standards is likely not the way. In the next segment, we'll dig into some questions similar to those that I would ask during a coaching session if we were exploring the same topic. Welcome to the Questions for Reflection segment. Now let's take a deep dive into some inquiring questions that can help you learn more about yourself, dating, and that larger list of standards. Remember, this is the interactive portion of the episode, and you can click on the link in the show notes to download the worksheet with all of the questions and exercises that will allow you to follow along by recording your responses. If you've already signed up for my email list, the new worksheet will be sent to you when the new episode is published. So if you had trouble paring down your list to 10, put a star by any items that are really causing you a lot of stress or frustration.
I'm going to talk really quick, and I'm going to say that I absolutely love this podcast. It's really, really thought out. It's not put together haphazardly. Okay, it just she's not throwing stuff at you. Okay, she's going through scenarios. She's going through different things that you may be going through. Someone of your friends may be going through. Somebody you know may be going through. Are your standards too high? But that's not the only podcast that she has. If we take a look really quick, she has a lot of different podcasts here: red flags and toxic dating, attachment styles, love languages, special episodes, the Shack game, aka living. I mean, there's just so many different episodes here that you can literally just attach yourself to at any given time. I think the biggest thing is, being in a relationship doesn't mean that you are going to be better than your partner, and it doesn't mean your partner is going to be better than you. It means that you're going to be growing together. And if you can't see yourself growing together with someone, then you literally need not to be with that person, or you need to tell them, or you need to resolve your issues, or whatever the case may be. But this podcast is going to help you do it. I like this podcast because it's truthful. I like this podcast because she did not put this together like yesterday. This is stuff that she's thought out, and she's really giving it to you very, very, I mean, in all explanation, she's on point. And I want to thank her so much for putting this together and being on cue and on point with what she's doing. This to me is just amazing. The successful invisible. Now, I like that, the successful invisible. Because you're successful doesn't mean that you're visible. It could be that you're invisible. It could be that you don't feel like you're being seen. And so, literally, the Successful Invisible is going to be a podcast that I give 2 thumbs up. Definitely recommend it. Definitely love it. You guys are going to have to tune in if you're a woman over 35, or even if you're dating a woman over 35, you need to listen to this too. Because a lot of men are not taking the cues from the women, and a lot of women are not taking cues from men. We're going to be we're going to be all in the dark here. And so this podcast is Successful Invisible is going to be a podcast that you truly need to pay attention to. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And I'm going to have that information about the Successful Impossible podcast in the description box below. Don't forget to tune in. It's free on Anchor and it's on Spotify. Thank you guys again so much. And until next time, bye, guys.
Yeah, 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 yeah.